This is the book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 8. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Revelations 11 and 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly. Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakar Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Grand Millstone, preaching his word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And I say shalom to you Akim out there. And this is a quick lesson through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushua. And as I was bringing out those scriptures, and it pertains to this right here of this news article that I'm about to read. And this this is from the U.S. helps prepare. Right, U.S. helps Israel prepare for military escalations. Salakia, bear with me just a second. Doing something real quick. Salakia, I'm back. This was recently on June the 23rd, 2022, from RT.com. And, I'm going to read it again for edification's sake. And the highlight of this news article, and it reads, U.S. helps Israel prepare for military escalation. The military exercise simulation renewed unrest along Israel's northern border, amending a territorial dispute with Lebanon. Right, and they already got disputes between the Syrian border and the Israel border as well too. So I let you know, we're living in a time of nations should rise against nations, and it's definitely increasing in the last days, And the military exercise simulation renews unrest along with the Israel's northern border, amid the territorial dispute with Lebanon. It says Israel and the United States has carried out a joint military drill aiming to coordinate air defense, intelligence, and logistics in the event that fighting breaks out with armed groups in southern Lebanon. Haaretz reports on Wednesday. It says conducted over the last week and overseen by the U.S. Central Command, Central.com, and the Israeli Defense Forces, which is the IDF. The exercise aims to prepare for both countries for a military escalation on Israel's northern front, according to the newspaper. However, while Cent.com and the IDF game out a number of scenarios, the two sides did not discuss the possibility of active U.S. involvement in Israeli strikes on Hezbollah, a militant group and political organization based in Lebanon, which has clashed on and off with Israeli forces since its founding in 1980s. This week's drill focused on a potential for fighting in Israel's north, as well as how to respond to Iranian involvement, along with Hezbollah and Lebanon, Hertz added. Though the U.S. military ties with Israel was previously coordinated under the European commanding the EUCOM, those responsible were passed to CENT.com last September. The move has resulted in increase of cooperation between the two sides, including the latest rounds of exercise. Similar drills has not been held under the EUCOM for several years. It says instead of focus on defense systems alone, the IDF announced that it would conduct exercise along the border with Lebanon last week, including artillery drills, though it did not mention any American involvement at the time. And it says the military activity comes amiding a territorial between Israel and Lebanon, with two sides laying complete claims to energy-rich areas in the Mediterranean. Early this month, the Lebanese President Michael warned that any attempt that taps the offshore riches without first resolving the dispute would be as a precaution, while recent Israeli media reports have stated that the IDF is preparing for a possible attack on drilling platforms near the contested waters. Yeah, so, that's a prime example right there, because it's already enough, Israel look at Iran as the main threat. Now they looking at potential groups that gonna join in with the dispute between northern Israel of close to the Lebanon border. You're gonna have continual disputes over that. Clashes between the northern Israel border all the way to the Lebanon border, and then you got disputes might throw in with the Hezbollah, and then you got Iran as well too, then on top of that, Israel have clashes with the groups over there in Syria, the cross-border clashes and disputes in the Syrian border and between the Israel border as well too. So, it's a lot of tensions stirring up over there in the Middle East, even if it says, nations doing military exercise drills. So, they've been planning this for quite some while now with these nations doing joint military exercise drills. Like I mentioned before about Israel doing a simulation style attack on their potential big threat of Iran, because they still feel this Iran is a threat to the world, and they feel like Iran is a threat to the United States and Israel as well too. Even though I believe it was a new article came out, I was reading about I believe Iran blamed the United States for keep on delaying the revival of the 2015 nuclear deal, I believe. And then you got Israel on the other hand saying, the United States should not have a deal, with Iran, on the revival of the 2015 nuclear deal, because they still look at Iran as a threat, So that's why you're starting to see, the increase of these, these disputes and clashes and proxy wars between these different nations, And these nations are definitely gearing up, preparing for war, doing these military drills, these military exercise simulation type drills. You know, we're gonna see these further increase and build up. And that's when that Revelations 11 and 14 comes in. As I just bring it out as an introduction of this video, sit down, listen. I roughly paraphrase. Second woe was past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly, because we are entering the stages of the second woe is past, and the third woe coming quickly. The third war is war, and we are seeing that with the Mark 13 and 8 that I just brought out. You should hear wars and rumors of wars. We're seeing the increase of wars and rumors of wars. It's starting to increase by the day. Because these are biblical prophecy times that we are living in. So yeah, expect to see more of increase of wars and rumors of wars around the world, and especially is going to be some more increased tensions in the Middle East. Against the nations. So with that, that's all I wanted to bring out for this sit down lesson on this Friday morning at 3:40. No, Thursday morning. I meant to say Slocky. On this Thursday morning at 3:46 a.m. Central Standard Time on June 23rd, 2023. I mean June 23rd, 2022. 2022, I meant to say. So yeah, Slocky, a slip of the tongue. But it's all good though. But, with that, I hope this lesson was edifying through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushua. And I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Bakar Kadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim. And then with that, I will say shalom and above.